You're never tired when you're winning. And I think that that is the easiest way to always self-motivate yourself. That if you ever feel tired or exhausted, or you're trying something and it ain't quite working, or you're trying to make money and you can't seem to work it out, or you're trying to get views and the views don't come, and you feel like, oh, this is so tiring, or I want to quit, or I want to give up, just know the second you start winning, you're going to have unlimited energy to just win forever. There's no such thing as lazy. There's just people who feel demotivated as opposed to lazy. You can take any person, you can take the laziest guy, go home right now, find a guy who sits at home all day and plays video games and smokes weed and say, look, here's how you make $1 million. Here's exactly what you do. Here's a puzzle. Every time you complete the puzzle, I give you 100 grand. He'll stop being lazy because he knows exactly what to do. Once he starts winning, he'll be up all night doing puzzles, getting that money. But because he hasn't been given a very simple, clear path to the money, he can't work out how to do it, and he's too lazy to work out how to do it, so he doesn't want to do it. So you're never tired when you're winning. Whenever I feel a little bit demotivated, or a little bit tired, or a little bit under the thumb, or I feel like there's too much going on, or I'm stressed, I just go, you know what? Once this pulls off, I know I'm gonna have unlimited energy to push it to the end. And I think that's the best way to look at it. And another reason you should keep this in mind, you're never tired when you're winning, is you need to keep in mind that your enemy, if they're beating you, are never gonna give up. They're never gonna quit. They're never gonna get tired. They're never gonna get exhausted. As soon as your enemy feels like they're winning over you, they're never gonna stop. This idea that you can show weakness and vulnerability to your enemy and they won't want to kill you, I think is one of the biggest mistakes in the world. If someone says something negative to you and you go, that really hurt my feelings, that really affects me, they're going to keep doing it. Every man knows this is true.
You know what you call people who do not win competitions?
Losers.
Correct. It's just the bottom line of life. And it's kind of interesting because everyone pretends they give a fuck, but nobody does. Especially women. And I know I get attacked for women, but women truly don't give a fuck. If you ask a woman the kind of man she wants, she will never say depressed or sad, ever. She wants a man who is ultra capable, ultra competent. I've literally had women say to me, you know what I love being around you? Like, what? I don't have to think. I'm like, what do you mean? Because I just turn up and like, we just walk in the hotel and everyone, staff do anything we want and the jet's just on the runway and we just land and I'm in this beautiful place and I don't even know where I am and I get to just turn my brain off and it's great. Like, they want someone who is fun and spontaneous and charismatic and successful. They don't have time for sad dudes. They don't care. So the world doesn't care. The world has never given a shit about sad men. So if you're gonna sit there and self-diagnose yourself as a sad man, you're gonna have a shit life and nobody's ever gonna give a fuck and you're gonna perpetually lose forever. And that is your decision. I am so scared of being that person. The idea of that terrifies me to the point where I don't even want to accept that as a reality that can possibly exist. I don't give a shit what happens to me in my life. I don't care how bad it is. I don't care if the worst, most heinous things I can possibly imagine happen to me. I know that my sadness, my depression will be temporary because I will never stay a loser. It is against my creed. It's not in my DNA. And then you look at the mentality of a lot of these people, and I talk about this from my perspective because I primarily talk to younger guys. And they've gotten to a point where they're just apathetic and they're just gamblers. They're like, well, I'll just gamble on crypto or I'll gamble on the stock market. I don't stand a chance of getting out with hard work. I don't stand a chance of getting out with education. I don't stand a chance of having a woman who loves me without money. So I'm just gonna gamble. Just gamble on meme coins or just gamble on the stock market. And if I lose, I'll just sit in my bedroom and play video games. I give up. They're just giving up on the system, giving up on society. They're no longer waking up saying, if I work hard and train hard and be a good person, I can build a good society.
And that's what you teach them.
And that's what I'm trying to teach them to do because they've just given up. And this is the thing, and this is the thing about society and MSM and all this garbage and the Matrix. They try and convince you, don't worry if you're being a loser because people feel sorry for you and you'll get attention for it and you'll be okay in the end. And it's all this temporary fixes of dopamine by saying, I'm sad, don't worry bro, you'll be okay. But it's bullshit. They don't care long term. The world doesn't care. Nobody really cares. Chicks don't care. Business doesn't care. You are going to fail.
One of the key tenets of masculinity is emotional control. When I say men don't cry, I've cried. I cried when my father's died. So I cried once in 15 years. But the point is, I'm not saying you should never cry. I'm saying your default reaction to adversity should not be tears. There should be a big barrier that prevents tears and allows you to logically try and find a solution and get to work and put action in place as opposed to sitting there crying. And when I say men don't cry, they're like, oh, you're toxically masculine, you're insecure, real men cry. I disagree. Real men control their emotions and they act irregardless of emotions and make logical decisions. That's what a real man does. So you have to control your emotions as a man. If you can't control the sad, you can't control the violent, you can't control anything. And this is why society is getting so bad. All these men are told not to control themselves. And everyone's sitting there going, why is everyone killing each other? I wonder why. Well, because we get pissed off. And that's what happens. You know, so huge amounts of self-control is required to exist inside of a society as a man. And we need to be teaching men to be self-controlled. And you can't teach a man to be self-controlled if you start popping pills the second you're sad. That's not self-control.
You have to believe you're the fucking man, and you have to believe you can achieve anything. I'm not saying you can achieve anything easily. I'm not saying it's not going to take a whole bunch of work. I'm not saying it's going to happen quickly. But you have to believe you can achieve anything. I'll tell you something now. I don't give a fuck if it's being an astronaut. I don't care about climbing Mount Everest. You give me enough time to train, I will get it done. I know that for a fact because I know who I am as a man. That's the first thing. The second thing is, you need to be perspicacious. You need to understand that in this world, there's a whole bunch of people doing amazing shit that you are not doing. And that needs to piss you off. Because if it pisses you off, you become motivated all of a sudden. I was the only one who was pissed off when that Aston Martin was next to me and I had my sales job. I was the only one who was pissed off when I saw that Ferrari drive past. Other people were not annoyed by it. And when they're not annoyed by it, they're not driven to beat it. You understand? They're not driven to be where that person was. You need to be annoyed, and I'm telling you to be angry. Anger is a fantastic force. Like I said, the world tells you not to be arrogant, it tells you not to be angry. It's two things it tells you to do. Don't be arrogant, don't have an ego, and you don't have anger. You're a fucking man. You're a full-grown man. It's perfectly fine for you to be pissed off. It's perfectly fine for you to look around at your life, look at the girl you're fucking, look at the house you live in, look at the car you drive, and get pissed off and go, you know what, I want a hotter bitch. I want a fucking nicer house. I want a faster car. There's nothing wrong if you take that anger and you direct it in the correct direction.
Well, depression is another weapon they use to destroy our masculine energy, right? That's another weapon they use, because the majority of depressed people are men. Men suffer from depression more than females because a man's life is worse than a female's life.
Facts.
A man's life's much harder, right?
Facts.
So another way they destroy us is they convince us to be absolutely selfish. Depression is nothing but extreme selfishness. That's what I'm going to call it. And I'm going to tell you why it's not real in a second. But if you're depressed, you're living inside of your mind, you're obsessed with how you feel, you don't care about anything outside of yourself, and you're an exceptionally selfish person. That's all they're trying to do, is convince you and teach you to be extremely selfish. Let me tell you something. I'm going to say this right here, right now, because there's a whole bunch of famous people, Lincoln Park and whatever, they killed themselves. If you have children and you kill yourself, you're not a man. I don't care what you're feeling. I don't care how sad you are. You have children to take care of. You're going to embarrass your children. You're going to leave your children without a father.
Andrew, can we say that one more time?
Because you're sad. If you have children and you kill yourself, you were never a man to begin with. Absolute garbage.
Facts.
Garbage. And the only reason this crap happens is because of the acceptance of depression. People say that depression is stigmatized. It's the complete opposite. It's accepted now to the point where it's almost promoted. It's insane. Let me tell you something. Depression is not real. Feeling depressed is real. So you can feel depressed, but you feel depressed, and that is a natural biological evolutionary trigger for you to change something in your life. That's your own mind telling you you're unhappy about X. If I went to jail today, I'd be depressed because I'm in jail. Right. I haven't caught depression. I don't have a disease. I'm just upset with my situation.
Yep.
I have people message me all the time. I'm fat and I can't get a girlfriend because I'm depressed. I'm like, no, pancake lover. You're depressed because you're fat and you can't get a girlfriend. Do you understand? This is the point, right? So for a lot of people, your life is depressing. A lot of you out there, if you're sitting there and you say you've suffered from depression, you probably live a depressing life. You probably live a depressing life. So if I was you, I'd be depressed. But if you were me, you'd be happy. Do you know what could solve depression for most poor people? $1 million in the bank.
Yeah.
Boom.
And intrinsically, we all know this, right? When I pull up in one of my dirty cars to a gas station and people look at me and they see a Lambo or a Ferrari or a Bugatti or a Koenigsegg, whatever I'm driving, nobody goes, wow, he went to school. No, they think drug dealer, gangster. They're thinking he broke the rules, because anyone who follows the rules doesn't get shit. It's all a scam. It's all a fucking lie.
When my father died, I just moved to Romania. I had just started I had my webcam company. I moved here. I had 6 girls with me. I spent all my money moving all my stuff out of England and getting to Romania, setting up a house, and then my dad died. When my dad died, I had two choices. I said, do I either fly back to the funeral? And my dad was my hero. My relationship with my dad is much closer than most people have had with their dad. Like, it's not like we had a distant relationship. He was my hero in every regard. Do I fly to his funeral? And then what's gonna happen is I'm gonna blow all my money. I'm gonna be away for weeks. These girls are new. They're gonna vanish. They're in Romania on their own. They don't know anyone here. They're gonna wanna go home, da, 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 da. Or do I suck it up and focus on my business? And I've got my mom to provide for. Me and Tristan have started this company. We spent all our money. And I missed my dad's funeral to run my business. And even my sister messaged me, Dad, you're so insensitive, da, da, da. I said, look, I'm my father's son. If he was alive, he'd slap me in the mouth for fucking up my income for the whole family and fucking up my chance of building a legacy for this family and making sure mom never has to work again to go to a fucking funeral. I can mourn from here. It's just a very rational decision. And the day he died, I found out at 1 p.m., 5 p.m., I'm commentating on live TV. The next day, I'm running my webcam studio. Was I devastated? Absolutely. But what did I do? The same shit I would have done if he was alive. Because how I feel doesn't have bearing on how I live my life. Everyone knows what the right decision is. People pretend they don't know. You know the decision is to go to the gym. You know the decision is to put the chocolate bar down. You know the decision is not to drink. You just pretend you don't know. Oh, but I feel this way, so I garbage. You know you should be in the gym, whether you're happy, fucking sad, excited. It doesn't matter how you feel. You know what you should be doing.